Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick update on my experience with the Razer Blade Armor case for the Razer Blade 14 gaming laptop. Now you can see I've got the case right here. Inside it, the blade is sitting comfortably. And I do like the case, but today's video is an update for a reason. I had actually planned to return the case, and I'm glad that I didn't go ahead and do that video because I did an exchange instead. And I say that because the first one I got looked great. I liked the design, I liked the concept of it being more than a traditional sleeve, because at $50 it should be, although I don't recommend actually using your Razer Blade for long periods of time, especially gaming with it, in something that's going to block all ventilation. But I think for traditional computing, certainly nothing wrong with it. Even something like the Blade is not going to turn to fire, and it does stay and really conform to the laptop very well. Let's say it lives in it quite nicely, and it is going to protect it from bumps, scratches, not drops, nothing will, but it does a nice job. The problem I had was these two pieces on the side right here that essentially keep the lid attached and open while you're working on your laptop. When you close it, you can see that act right there. Unfortunately, the one on the right buckles, and it basically is uneven. You can actually even see right now the right side is lifted because of that buckle. And when I first got this, I really wasn't sure how to interpret this, whether or not to look at this as an imperfection in manufacturing that I would see across the board, no matter which one if I exchanged it or not. Because after all, this is just a slip case. It's just a sleeve. You got to remember, we are not looking at something that you could have incredibly high expectations for. So with that in mind, that's where I was ready to say, okay, I'm just going to return it. Unfortunately, it didn't live up to expectations. And by the way, for those of you wondering why that's a problem, it's because when you go to zip the case closed, there you have it. You get a stopping point. And the reason you get a stopping point is because that uneven cut is now protruding from the side of the case. So this is really what almost made me return the Razer Blade Armor case, is that who would want to spend $50 on a case that they can't even zip without tucking it in as if they're trying to squeeze something in there that really doesn't belong. And thankfully I decided against that route of just basically copping out on this thing and ordered another one from Amazon. By the way, this piece also I'm going to talk about right there, the Velcro, which will keep the laptop in place. A nice feature. A design flaw, though, is that they did not actually make this long enough to cover all of the pad that it connects to, which basically means that when you close the top lid, it's going to get stuck on the Velcro. Not a big deal, but something you should be aware of. But the thing that I noticed, for those of you who want to avoid this problem, right out of the box, the top half of the Armor case, you see all those indentations that are basically abnormal, to say the least, those lines. That is what I was getting out of the box. So that's what things looked like, and that made me nervous. So, as I mentioned, I went ahead and ordered another one. And this is pretty much, why I do business with Amazon. Seamless returns. I didn't have to get on the phone and speak with anyone. I just went online, logged into my account, and here we go. The new one arrived. Yes, it does still have the same, unfortunately, short strap here for keeping the laptop safe, but notice something. The top side there doesn't have those indentations. Yes, there are some in the corners, but that is actual manufacturing. Those extra ones were, again, part of the problem that I had, and that was making these straps basically the wrong length. Now when I close it, you can see uniform action. This isn't magic or anything, but that's the difference, quite frankly, between having a practical case that works as expected and one that does not. So let me go ahead and get the Razer Blade in here. And right now, this is still the case, if I had to recommend one out there, that I would go with, because, yeah, there are a lot of different sleeves on the market that you can get, but for $50 to get the manufacturer, the OEM design, and the fact that it actually does suit the Razer Blade quite well is definitely a nice added bonus. So you'll see right here, I was mentioning before, it does not make it all the way. So there's that exposed Velcro, and then as we close it, you can see buckle free. So basically what that now means is I can close this and should be able, you saw I was able to go around that side. I'm not going to take it all the way, but completely seamless. Now, the right side still has a little bit more bulge than the left. In other words, it's still a little more prone to getting caught, but just to give you an idea, a look of how clean it is compared to what we were looking at before, you saw the other one was completely bulging out of here. This one, yes, it makes contact, but I don't have to force it or worry that I'm actually going to catch the material and in essence end up breaking this brand new expensive, and I would say expensive at $50, sleeve that again can be used with the laptop inside of it, but I would not recommend it simply because of heat issues. Definitely no gaming, kids. Do not try to game with this thing living inside the Armor case. But you've got some nice thick plastic neoprene going on here, a combo neoprene on the sides along the zipper, the plastic reinforced on top of the padding. Really makes for, I would say, a solid case. I think it's attractive. It matches the Razer Blade branding, and this is the only logo you're going to get right here, which is not a lot coming from Razer, who tends to love to, slap their logo on everything. So I can recommend this case. You may have to do an exchange like myself, but now I have one where at least I can close it without saying I have a $50 case I can't even close. I struggle to actually close. That would be ridiculous. So I'm glad I went through the exchange, and that's why now I was finally ready to share this update with all of you. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them, and of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.